Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2. We're recording backwards. Welcome to episode 2 of Shit Talkin with RobsFault. Uh, you know, we're here with good friend, brother, business partner, John K, Mr. Chef Kush, Mr. Mr. Do It All. Mr. Do It All. If you need something uh to be cooked for you, it can be cooked. How you doing today, brother?
Doing all right, man. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so as you all know, after seeing the introduction, this is going to be a new channel on the Dad Bros, where we get a little bit deeper into things, a little bit deeper into the conversation. So, first guest here, Chef Kush. For those of y'all who don't know, me and Chef Kush go back 4 years, 5 years,
Going on 5 years, I think.
going on 5 years. Yeah. Um, a long story short, uh, we worked for the same franchise, different stores. Um, some stores went left and said, "Hey, bro, come on over here, take the ride with us." And he joined, and that ride ended up going right. And we said, "Hey, bro, well, let's go left anyways." And here we are. Yeah. Tell us. Obviously, I know a lot about your background. Uh, for the people watching, you are a chef. Tell us about being a chef.
Yeah. So right out of high school, I didn't really go directly into the food industry. I went a different direction. Actually, in high school, I was in a dual credit course for manufacturing maintenance to be like a technician and a machinist. So totally separate,
Yeah,
very
I don't
different
see
field. Yeah.
it.
So yeah, out of high school, I was actually working in factories, working on machines, machining stuff, uh, doing all that stuff, and got tired of the factory life. And one of my homies hit me up and said, "Hey, I think I can get you a job. Just call this place and tell them you know such and such." And I did that, and that was my first restaurant job. I mean, literally, I walked in, told them that, and they're like, "Okay, here's the I-9, here's the tax form. Like, you're hired. Come meet our chef." So that was my introduction into the food industry, basically. And their chef at that restaurant was happened to be on break, uh, out behind the kitchen, smoking weed. And so I get introduced, to walk up, "Hey, what's up? How's it going? You smoke weed? Hell yeah! Here you go." And from that moment, I was like, I think I know enough about this industry. I think I want to be in this one.
That's all you needed to know, huh?
Like knives, fire, and you can smoke weed.
Don't get better than that.
Yeah, I mean, what else could you want?
I mean, well, we know Rob's
I
fault. Let's
mean,
not get into that.
but for me, it checked a lot of the boxes.
Yeah.
And another factor that I didn't really know going into it until I kind of had some experience under my feet was that in kitchens you get this. It's a fast pace. You gotta have urgency, and I called it like the kitchen quickness.
Hmm.
And like you get into like this flow state, and you're doing 100 different things, and you're going really rapidly, and it's really excellent for efficiency and production.
Yeah.
Um, so I got into that, got into the restaurants. Eventually, wound up going to culinary school. I did do the 2 year associate's degree at Le Cordon Bleu up in Austin. Um, that was great. I learned a lot, but I think during my internship, after the schooling, I learned so much more on the job.
Of course. Hands
So
on always
yeah,
pushes you further.
you know,
Yeah.
and I'm one of those types of people that I got to learn by doing. Like
Hmm.
I can't just watch, I can't just write it, I can't just hear it. I got to do it to learn it. Um, so that kind of just blended really well with how I learned and how I operated, and ended up working in a handful of really high quality, kind of ritzy, fine dining establishments. Um, the biggest one, which unfortunately they're no longer serving dinner or lunch anymore, is called Apis, and it's about 30 minutes west of downtown Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of those restaurants where we could source all of our ingredients and tell you exactly where every single piece on that dish came from, and it was all within the state of Texas.
Oh man.
Most of it was farm to table, local farms within 50 miles of the restaurant. It was one of those when dinner service started, we had all of our reservations. We knew exactly who we were feeding, what their allergies and preferences were, and most of the time, their dining course was on average 12 dishes. And at most, we had people coming in for 32 courses.
32 courses.
And so that was like a 3 hour dinner
So
meal.
so for the guy like me, people watching out there that are like me who like just fucking serve my shit. What is a course? What makes a course?
So in the fine dining world, a course would basically be a plate. And so in the fine dining world, you have a structure of the dinner. So you've got like your appetizer, and then you've got like what you call an amuse bouche, which is like a palate cleanser. And then you've got like your main dish, and then you can have another amuse bouche, another palate cleanser, and then you can move on to your desserts.
So off topic, kind of. Being here from San Antonio, being a Mexican man, one of my favorite plates since I can remember is the huevo ranchero plate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all the taquerias I go to, I order that, and that's how I judge that taqueria.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, I don't know if it's the whole hearts and minds thing, all that bullshit. Uh, they stopped serving the ranchero sauce on top of the egg. And do you want it on the side? Well, then it's not huevo ranchero, right? But when they do put it on the side, and every time I tell them, no, put that shit on top, I'm ordering huevo ranchero, not eggs with ranchero sauce on the side. When they do put it on the side anyways, after asking me and telling them I want it on top, they still put it on the side. Is that considered a course? It's its own plate.
Nah, I consider that like a condiment. It's an extra thing that's an addition to the plate.
Okay. So let's go to the American breakfast spots I go to.
Yeah.
It's always an omelet. Always with hash browns.
Uh-huh.
Always. For some reason, they bring the hash browns on its own plate when you just put it on the same plate. There's plenty of space. Is those hash browns considered an extra course?
I wouldn't consider that an extra course because, especially the way that, in my understanding, like the way that the menu is constructed, it's a all one.
Yes.
It's like a meal.
Okay. So let's go back to this. Those aren't considered courses,
Right.
but it's a plate. You just said 32 courses and you brought up a plate a course.
And so what that means is like, I give it an example. So you might send out the first course would be like bread and butter. It's like typical rolls at Luby's or Ryan's, you know.
And that's a course.
It's an appetizer meal. And then the next course might be something like egg toast with some beef tartare on the top.
Beef who?
Beef tartare. It's like ground raw beef, but it's really high quality.
Since I've met John and his wife, my palate level has gone from like the basics. They've introduced me to so much shit. I can't pronounce none of it. It looks horrible. It does not look appetizing, but the shit is great. There's a thing called shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
I thought a shepherd was the good Lord. He got his own pie. It's got tons of vegetables in it. I don't do vegetables. I eat that thing up. Shepherd's pie. Is that one course?
There's
a lot in it.
Man.
There's a lot in it.
One.
Like 32 courses.
Yeah.
How do you? I've heard like 5-course meals. I don't think I've heard of anything more than a 5-course meal.
Right. And so when you have something that's that big, that's that extravagant, 32 courses, you're going to have some plates that are like 1 or 2 bites. And, you know, it's like 5 minutes and you're done. Next course. And then the other one might be you might have a steak with some potato puree and like a little sauce. That'd be like the main entree dish. And then you go on to some more sides and then move on to the desserts. And it might be like 3 or 4 different
So
desserts. But they're all, most of them are really small. So it's designed in a way that you're not just completely fucking stuffed by the time you walk out. You should be just really well and satiated.
so let's take the basic place, like Texas Roadhouse. You know, I go in there, I order the filet, I get the loaded baked potato or loaded mash, depending on how I'm feeling. Maybe lately, you know, I've been experimenting a little bit, so maybe add, you know, some broccoli or asparagus to it. Obviously, it comes with the rolls. You Texas Roadhouse rolls. That's
With the
let's not
honey
get
butter,
started.
oh man.
Is it honey? I thought it was
Honey
cinnamon
or
butter.
cinnamon,
Yeah,
both, yes.
man. Look, if she won't let me lick that butter off of her, I don't want her. But anyways, so you got all that. That to me, I'm counting 4 or 5 things. To say you get the glass of whiskey. How many courses is that?
Say like you got your rolls. That's like your first initial appetizer.
Most people will get the salad, not
Right.
me.
Some people get salad. I'd say that's another dish, and then
Sure.
you got your main course, which is like your steak, your potatoes. That's dish number 3. And then if you have dessert, that's 4 dishes.
Okay.
That's that in my mind. That's how I would break it down.
Does the drink count as a course? No. Okay.
I don't count drinks as courses.
So